Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Butschern. Just letting the harvester warm up a little bit. I was looking at this label here on the side here, the stairs. Just trying to figure out what all it's telling us here. It kind of looks like it's partially about how to maybe use a jack to raise the combine, maybe change a tire. It looks like you're supposed to block something there. There's a chain involved, maybe for towing, maybe for getting it unstuck. So we are back here on Butschern. We are in the final days of Butschern, in fact, and working on getting all of our harvesting done so we can put the wrappers on this wonderful little map. Let's get this thing fired up. I think we are all unfolded, and let's get to doing it. Hope everyone has had a wonderful week. It is Friday. We are ready for the weekend. That song, Everybody's Working for the Weekend, just came to mind. It'll probably date me a little bit, but I do enjoy my 1980s solid hits. Solid Gold. There's a program for those of you who remember it. The Solid Gold Dancers. Oh man. You know, sometimes I think sometimes it's kind of like, man, I watch some of these old shows and I don't know whether to be like, I can't believe I enjoyed those, or whether to think, you know, we need more shows like some of those old shows. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it sometimes, but nonetheless, I go back. You find a lot of that stuff on YouTube. You can find it on different streaming services. Some of the old shows. Some of them you still can't really get your hands on very easily, though. I don't know if it's like a rights thing or what, but I was going down the list the other day of some old shows that I wouldn't mind checking out more. You know, Fantasy Island. And I think it was released, right? Wasn't there an updated Fantasy Island on some network? They tried bringing it back. And instead of Mr. Rourke? It was like his daughter that was running the show. They didn't have Tattoo anymore. Tattoo was no longer there. I don't know. Some things you just can't redo. You know, you can't make again. Well, you can, but they're just not the same. You know, they're not the same. Chips with John and Poncherello. Oh man, yeah. Then there was the Chips movie. Wow, that thing was not the greatest, at least not in my book. But wow, there's the Dukes of Hazzard. I mean, there was like a Friday and Saturday night lineups that we used to watch, I remember. What was the one that had, oh, Alice, the waitress. And then there's always the spin-offs. You know, you always had the main show, and then from the main show, you had popular characters that got spin-offs. So you had All in the Family, and then from there you had the Jeffersons. And I think from the Jeffersons, I think their maid, what was their maid's name? Oh man, oh my gosh, it slips my mind. She was amazing. She got her own show for a brief while. I don't think it did very good though. Yeah, I think Maude even was a spinoff from All in the Family, or because Maude, yeah, I think it might have been. But anyways, just what's coming to mind when I don't know why I go down these little rabbit holes. got the old power tube waiting to pick up. Our yield on this field is basically identical to, ooh, don't hit the Massey. Don't hit the Massey. Our yield on this field's 88% again, so basically identical to what we were dealing with last episode. And once again, I think we're just gonna harvest and sell straight away. Get it to market. We've got this field. I think we have one more field of barley and then a field of canola. I think our last field of barley is the field that we bought, and actually I think it's the only field that we ended up buying on this map outside of what we started with, if I remember correctly. Was watching my my buddy George Saunders there on YouTube today. He put out a video on the I think it's new, at least that's the impression I got, the new JCB, and we're gonna be full here, the new JCB Icon, I think it's called. I want to say Iconic, but I'm not sure if it's Iconic or Icon. But he was given kind of a demo on this tractor, and yeah, it looked pretty sweet. He was, well, he was trying to be impartial, but I don't think having very good success at that. He obviously loved the tractor. I see JCBs are quite popular, I think, in the UK. I asked him actually in the comments one time because I was curious, because JCBs have always had the, you know, been shown as being for speed, road tractors, basically tractors whose primary function is to cart things and get you from point A to point B a little faster than maybe a John Deere or a Massey or something else would. You know, that would seem like their main intention or their main goal. There's still a tractor, so there's still that functionality, obviously, of field work and stuff. So I asked him how the JCBs stacked up to other tractors as far as field work went. Like, could they, you know, can they plow and cultivate and seed and do all the things that other brands can't do? Can they do it as well? And he responded, and he said that the newer ones are becoming better at being all-around tractors. So he didn't get into a lot of detail, but from what I read, from what I could gather from his opinion at least, that JCBs didn't always match up to other tractors for field work, and they were a little bit more, you know, not a one-trick pony, but certainly geared towards, you know, not highway speeds, but road speeds and stuff. But apparently the newer ones, he said, are much better at taking them out in the field and doing plowing and stuff. And he has had some videos of their JCB doing a lot of field work and stuff. It's not a newer JCB. This one that he was showing off on this video recently was a brand new model, and he was doing, from what I could gather, it looked like it was some kind of cultivating. I don't know if it was cultivating though, because he was calling it something different. Like a flat lift, I think is what he was calling the tool. I wasn't exactly sure what that. I think it was called a flat lift. maybe it was some. It looked like they were working in a. From what it looked like, it was grass. So, but he was quite excited. He was quite excited about this thing, and I'll tell you that the cab was like space age. It was sweet. I mean, you could tell that this thing was extremely highly technical. He was saying how user-friendly it was, though, and intuitive the controls were and things. And I mean, there wasn't a thing that you couldn't adjust on this tractor. It was pretty amazing. I mean, the screen looked, the tablet inside looked amazing. Yeah, it's definitely something I would love to be able to drive someday. I think it'd be fantastic. That's still on my bucket list, is being able to operate a combine. Like one of these. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? Most of the time I hear combine work is most often people's favorites, it seems like, on the farm. I think it would be a lot of fun to be able to plow and to do some heavy, you know, like the heavy farm work. You know what, we are here, so I'm going to might as well go ahead and get an onload in. Since we're here anyways. Sneak in the back corner there. Yeah. Beautiful day here in Butschern. June, just the opposite of what it is in real life where I live. At least we are heading into the fall season. We are heading into cold weather. I know the other day there was a chance of snow. I didn't see any snow, but they did forecast a possibility of snow, so it's on its way. And most certainly, I think the most obvious thing are the shorter days. It's, you know, it's getting on like 5:30, 6 o'clock around my time, and that's Eastern time, and I look outside and it's dark, and I think it's throwing my internal clock off, because I am feeling tired early. And it's like there's no longer a nap. There's now a pre-nap, a nap, and then a post-nap is how I'm feeling. Then we'll get the time change. The fallback. I don't know about how you all feel about time changes, but I was under the impression that we were going to see that go away. Now, I don't know if that's just, you know, social media talk or what, but I heard that there were actual efforts being made to get rid of the time changes. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see that happen or not. I do know that for me, the fallback is better than the spring ahead. It just seems like I adjust to the fallback so much faster than the spring ahead. There's no doubt about that. I think Barley might be one of the most satisfying Oh, Brad, you're turning the wrong way. See, I got a little confused because I was changing my camera angle. But I think Barley might be one of the more satisfying crops to combine. It just looks like you're dealing with like this plush carpet, you know. And I love the spread out the back of the combine with Barley. It just looks so thick and satisfying, you know, how it sprays that out, the chaff, I guess the chaff. But I do like the way a field of Barley looks, for sure. So I was doing some, looking at the mods, starting to try to catch up on mods that have been released. There's been quite a few of them. I see quite a bit of, little bit of a variety too. I was looking at that map that came out today. It's Thursday night that I'm recording this, but there was a map that came out called Polowa, P-O-L, I think it's an L, P-O-L-O-W-A. I believe it is a Polish map, so I'm not sure. The L has kind of got one of those little slash things through it, so I don't know if it's intended to necessarily be an L. But I took a look at that today, and that thing looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I thought the map author did a beautiful job with that map, and some of the attention to detail in the building structures, different things that are laying around the map. It definitely gives me a Polish farming map vibe, no doubt. And some of the, I don't know, I'm attracted to Polish maps to some sense, because they seem like, and again, I don't know, I am not familiar with Poland. I've never been there. I can't speak well to that area of the world, but one thing that I've at least seen in Farming Simulator that seems to be a standard for Polish maps for the most part, excuse me, is they look like they're anything, I don't know how to put this without sounding without sounding like I'm being negative about it. Excuse me, because I'm really trying not to be. I really don't feel negative about the maps, about the Polish maps. I think they're, whoops, I think they are. I love them. I think they're beautiful in their own regard, but they always like seem like there's like, you know, these brick buildings that are decaying, and then you've got these half brick walls here and there, and I want to say run down, but not run down. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that I, you know, in a sense that I can't really think of a good descriptive word, but you know what I'm talking about. If you've looked at Polish maps on Farming Simulator, now according to the mod author or the map author, it's very representative of the area that he or she lives in, and it's beautiful countryside. You know, they just always seem to have just really beautiful countrysides to them. And I kind of like Polish maps, at least for me. I actually kind of like the Polish maps over the British maps, because it's almost like you get a almost filled up on that trailer. It's like you're getting the beauty of British maps as far as the countryside and a lot of that, but without the shrubs around every field and trees around every field, and the feeling of a bit of claustrophobia in the fields, if you know what I'm saying. That's not the best word to use, but I think you get the idea. So if I looked at this new Polish map, And I was looking at it, just flying around it and looking at it from an aerial view and stuff. Many parts of it did remind me of British maps and even other European maps for sure. But what I thought I liked more about it was the fields were quite open and would be relatively easier to work. And it had a nice terrain to it. It wasn't all flat. It was just, it had a nice roll to the landscape. So yeah, if you have a chance to check it out, I would highly recommend it. The only thing that I always see in these maps are small farmyards, and if you have watched me play Butschern long enough, you're probably well aware that I don't do well in confined spaces, in confined farmyards. My driving skills, in particular, reversing skills, are substandard. I think that would be a kind way to put it. They are substandard. And so I was looking at the farm area, or the farmhouse area and stuff on this map, and wow, I could just see. I mean, I would absolutely destroy that mini buildings on that farmyard if I was left to doing it. But it looks like a beautiful map. Not something that I plan on playing right away, but I did kind of put it in my possibilities list. Do you all do that? Do you guys all keep like a? Do you all keep like a list of maps that you kind of want to get to playing? I have this list that I keep, and it's like, yep, that one's gonna go on it for sure. And I believe it is a full-size 2 kilometer or 2x map, I do believe. So, and there was quite a variation in field sizes as well, which I really liked. It looked like, I would say for the majority, the field sizes were small to medium, but there were a couple of large fields, and certainly potential, if you really wanted to, for combining fields. It had a beautiful little lake area in it too, with boat docks around it, and it looked like the cabin that was on the lake. If I'm not mistaken, it looked like the cabin that was from the Elk Mountain, Wyoming map. Not the main house, but the small cabin that's by the lake and on Elk Mountain. It's kind of what it looked like to me. I might be wrong, but that's what it resembled to me. And then, but yeah, man, there were some spots on this map that were just absolutely gorgeous to look at. Good for logging if you wanted to do some logging. There were some logging areas, no doubt. I think there was also a map that came out that was geared more towards logging as well. Again, not something I jump on, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that look forward to getting maps with more logging built into them. Let's go ahead and fill this trailer up. Should be able to fill it up, I think, with this load. So it looks like we're probably going to end up with just one trailer full here. Maybe, what do you think, about another trailer, maybe another quarter trailer or so? So my plan for Butschern is most likely this episode, and I think what I'm going to try and do is finish it up this weekend. So there will probably be, I'm thinking probably 2 more episodes, a Saturday and a Sunday episode for Butschern, and wrap it up this weekend. And then next week we'll be going full-time to East Vineland, at least for a while, to get caught up there on Kubota Farm and get some make some advancements there. I don't know if you're watching that series, but I have been having contract issues on that series, with contracts disappearing, and I just don't know if it's something that I need to look up and see on the forums if anybody else has experienced contract issues on East Vineland. My feeling is it's probably a mod conflict of some sort that's creating those issues, because I'm not seeing, let's see here, I haven't had, well, we don't get many contracts here on Butschern, so I guess that's not the best comparison, but I haven't experienced disappearing contracts for a long time in Farm Sim 22. I think for a short while there were issues that were corrected by Giants for disappearing contracts. I don't honestly remember having those issues, but I've been told that that was a known bug and that they were corrected. So, not really sure what's doing it. My guess is a mod conflict. My guess is it might be one of the contract mods misbehaving with the map. I did also have a problem on East Vineland. I don't know if it's the map again or if it's an equipment problem, but some hired help issues on East Vineland where with the Kubota tractor and the Kubota equipment pack, trying to get a hired helper to do some work, and it just would not recognize the field and wouldn't start. So not sure what was up with that either, but you know what, you go with the flow, you know, you go with the flow, you figure it out, you find a workaround, you do something different, and you go with it. You know, I look at that as, you know, just farmers, sometimes their equipment breaks down. You know, maybe sometimes they have to deal with stuff that isn't always going their way, so we deal with stuff that isn't always going our way. Fortunately, this is a game, and we have a lot less at stake than farmers do, for sure. What do you think? I think we can fit this last chunk in our combine. Let's just finish it up in cab, get a little bit of satisfying in cab harvesting done here. Yeah, I like barley. I like the looks of barley. I also find a nice big cornfield to be really satisfying when you're doing chaff and foraging on corn. That's pretty satisfying too. Well, excellent. We were able to finish. We were able to finish up this field. One trailer load and one combine load. And we'll probably, I'm just thinking, I know we've got one more field. In fact, I think that field of barley over there in the distance is the next field for us, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that is actually going to wrap it up for this episode of Butschern. So we're getting close. We've got a couple more fields to go. Some things to wrap up around the farmyard to sell and tidy up. And we will be calling it quits on Butschern. So thank you all once again for joining me today. I really do appreciate it very much. Thanks for all your support. You all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you, I would say, Saturday morning for another episode of Butschern. And let's just keep going until we get this baby wrapped up. You all take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon.